I want you to give a really, really warm welcome, the warmest welcome like ever, to Ben Thurston. Woo!
Looks different from up here. There's a lot of empty seats up here. That's the recession hitting, I think. I used to have a friend with benefits. That's all gone. I had the handle went on my Woolworths bag for life. Bail out for me. Right. I usually write my act on my hands, and what's happened is I've absent-mindedly written it on the hand of another comedian. I did think I recognised quite a lot of that stuff. I've been quite distracted. I think that's why that's happened today. It's an important anniversary for me. It's the 20th anniversary of the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me, or I would imagine anybody. And what I like to do on that anniversary is to make my way to the nearest thriving community arts space and talk to the beautiful, intelligent, cool people, but I could do it here. If that's all right. So it was 20 years ago, it was 1993, and I was in a student house with a girl I just started going out with and a male friend of mine. We were sitting there, it was early afternoon, so we were smoking our breakfast. It was kippers. And I wanted to whisper something to my friend who was sitting opposite me. And obviously it was, I don't remember what it was, but it was 1993. It presumably was something to do with the plot of The Fugitive, starring Harrison Ford. So I'm still holding on to this girl's hand, don't let her go, and I leant forward and I whispered in his ear whatever it was, you know, so who did kill his wife, something like that, I don't know. And as I went to just sit back down, I had some kind of small seizure or something. And I think I'd got confused because I was holding hands with this girl. And I kissed his ear. And obviously my first thought was maybe he hasn't noticed. So I looked up into his horrified eyes. He definitely has noticed. And I don't think I had that feeling where you go all hot and cold through embarrassment. You're like a kind of baked Alaska of humiliation. You know, instead of ice cream, it's humiliation. And instead of meringue, it's more humiliation. So my next thought was, well, you know, maybe I can pretend this hasn't happened. So I sort of sat there kind of pretending it hadn't happened, and I looked up into his still horrified face. I thought, he's not pretending this hasn't happened. He's wishing this hadn't happened. He's not pretending this. So the only other option I saw that was available to me was to pretend I'd done it on purpose. So I said, "Oh, is that not a thing you do where you're from?" Because this was 1993, you didn't have the internet, you didn't, we'd all come from different parts of the country. In many ways, it was a golden age of bullshit. You could... So I said, "Oh, do you not do that where you're from? It's a cool, fashionable thing we do where I'm from, and probably it'll come to where you're from and you'll be doing it, and you'll think, oh, that's that cool, fashionable thing Ben was doing first." And he said, no, we don't do that where I'm from, which is London. Do you do that where you're from, which is rural Somerset? And obviously I said, yes, we do, and I have to say I resent your somewhat sceptical tone. And subsequently, I did do it quite a lot, because I wanted to normalise the experience for him. So what I would do is, if I ever found myself in a room full of boys, I would engage one of them in conversation, make sure my mate was looking, and then whisper something to him. And obviously it's still 1993, it would be, I don't know what I would have whispered, you know, like, I'm really looking forward to when Jurassic Park comes out. I'm feeling quite flush because I'm getting 6% interest on my savings. And I would then look back, make sure he's clocked it. I would kiss this guy, like that. And then maybe sort of throw this guy a wink so he knows I'm looking at him. And that's why it's happening. But, of course, the trouble is that what you've done now is you've not just got one guy whose ear you've kissed. You've done it to another one. And you need to then normalise it. So I ended up in a position where I had to keep going with this. Even after the relationship had broken down. I mean, by which I mean the relationship with the bloke. The relationship with the girl had broken down some time previously. She was a very beautiful girl. She looked like kind of like a young Aled Jones. She was very sexually experimental, but most of the time we were together I was assigned to the control group. She finished with me with the words, "It's not you, it's me and these guys." And I told my friends that it was a mutual decision, like, because it's just one of those kind little euphemisms you use, like when you say about someone, "Oh, he's good company," and you mean he's an alcoholic, or he's very active in the community, and you mean he's a paedophile, or he's a character, and you mean he's a cunt. So eventually, I got to the stage, and I was finding it harder and harder to engage groups of men in conversation. My friends wouldn't come to the library with me. And so as soon as I finished my degree, I moved away. But there is kind of it's got a kind of happy ending, because recently one of the people I knew back then got in touch with me, and far from, I thought they were all obsessed with this idea that I kiss people and they didn't like me or anything, and this guy wrote me a little note saying, "Oh, we still talk about you, and we really think you're some kind of character." I just realised, I've told you all that, I'm not absolutely certain that is the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to me, because I once walked in on my dad when he was wanking. He hit the roof. Thank you very much indeed.